Great afternoon. There's a question here that I think other people might be interested in. Maybe not so much on the Tarot channel, but on the spiritual channel they might be interested in. So I'm just going to go ahead and read this. Once someone gets to realization, how do they stop from going into nihilism and the attitude that nothing matters if everything is all the same and all one? I mean, I can see someone having this happen once they realize that death is not real in the way everyone else thinks. Especially, I know I'm not one of your more spiritually inclined, if that's the right phrase, viewers, but I want to try to understand as best I can when I can. Okay. All right, let me try to explain it. Nihilism doesn't come into view at all, because when everything deconstructs and one enters into that great is, you see and understand this is why karma exists in the dualistic plane. You understand that this is the great life force, okay, and it doesn't negate karmic happenings. Okay, this does not negate that nothing matters. There's no, oh no, you understand that karma is there and karma exists. Because this is perfection. This is perfection. This absolute life is perfection. So you understand immediately the why karma is and why it will continue. And when one deconstructs into that great is, nihilism and where there's nothing that exists, well, this is very real. Okay? It's the life of all life and the death of all death. Okay, you understand that everything is eternal, but there are consequences to actions. That when people pass, it's not somebody sitting there in judgment. Okay, you're good, you're going to heaven, you're bad, you're going to hell. It's not like that. One gravitates to the place where their mindset is. Okay. Everything is built on energy. Okay. Something that's at a low vibration cannot enter up here because it would destroy. They couldn't stand it. They couldn't handle it. So those of a low vibration, those that are serial killers, ones like Adolf Hitler, those type will all go to those of like consciousness. Now, if you get serial killers, ones like Adolf Hitler, all together, those consciousness all together, and there's nothing there to feed on, what do you think's going to happen? Hell realm. They have isolated themselves from God energy. They've isolated. They're in a very dark place, very, just feeding off of each other, feeding off of this, negativity and things that they've gotten, okay? So that's hell. Okay. Those with the higher consciousness will go in a like place, which would be termed heaven, okay? So you understand why these things exist. And again, it's like you no longer wonder if there's God. There is absolutely no doubt as to this creative force. Okay, that it exists. It's eternal in nature. And so all of these inner workings are known in just a split second. Okay. It's so hard to explain how it's like all of a sudden, all of these doubts, all of these ideations one may have had that have been faulty are changed in an instant. Okay, so nihilism cannot enter the picture. If somebody has a glimpse and they go into nihilism, then 9 out of 10 they haven't completed. They've just seen this, that, oh, everything's connected, it's all the same energy. Okay. And they're back into ego, so it doesn't matter. They think that there's no such thing as karma. I can get away with anything. But if they had gone the whole of the journey into that deconstruction, and people think deconstruction, I say it's the great zero, that it means it's nihilistic, there's nothing. Oh no, it's absolutely pregnant with everything that can ever come into existence. Okay? It's in its seed state form. It's in seed state, but it's also full blown. When you see Shakti, all of that contains that within it. So again, this is something that's really difficult for somebody that's in, I hate to say it, the mundane mind, because they've built up all these ideas by conjecture. This is an opinion. It's conjecture. It's not something that's been experienced in its fullness. Therefore, it's open to interpretation and one's ideations about it. But again, when you go the whole of the thing and everything actually deconstructs, it deconstructs into something much more, how do I want to say, something much more real than what this dualistic realm is. So there's no nihilism. It deconstructs into something ever more present and real than what one sees here, which is based on illusion, which is based on constructs of mental ideation. Okay? So again, no nihilism. Not possible with realization. So I'm going to leave this here. When you say, that's why Buddha did not answer. When they asked Buddha if there's a God, Buddha didn't really answer that. Because again, when you get there, there is and there isn't. This energy, this is not something with a corporeal form. Okay? This living energy, this divine allows everything to come into being. It gives it life, it gives it breath, it gives it the ability to learn, the ability to experience. Okay? So it's something vastly different than people's ideas about a God are, that God's directing this and directing that. God is not directing this and directing that. Okay? It's perfect, pristine, is as it is. But because of its perfection, when one goes off and leaves that light into shadow, then they've taken a seed that was genuine and they've spun it until it becomes a lie. This is why it's so hard sometimes people get involved in cults, because they hear something, a part of it is true, and they think if that part's true, then they must all be true. But this is the way that ego works. Okay? Part of it's true, but the rest of it is a fallacy. So it's not in that perfect wholeness. It becomes corrupted. Okay? And anytime there's something with corruption to it, it loses it's losing its integrity, it's losing its value, it's losing its power. Even though people that are in these corruptions think they're more powerful, in the end they are not. In the end, they're not getting away with this stuff. In the end, there is something to be paid. Okay? So again, these things are something that you're not taught. The minute everything deconstructs, it's just abundantly clear. That's why you say you wake up, you're out of the dream. There's no more mistaken notions. There's clarity, where these things are just, it's like kindergarten at that point. You see it and you go, all this time you thought it was this or that, but there's absolute clear seeing at that point. Nothing is obstructed. And it becomes very simplistic. The truth is very simple. Okay? It's the lies and the alternative facts that become complicated. But truth is very simple. Very pure, very clean, very simple. Okay. So I'm going to leave this here. Thank you for your question. Hopefully that's answered it. Yeah. So I'm going to leave this here. Thank you for your question. Have a great day.